Okay, so this is Team Codebread's Milestone 6 video demo. So a quick breakdown of what I'm going to talk about are some general game mechanics that we've implemented in the previous milestones. Then we're going to go straight into challenge rooms and how they work, our final boss, and then wrap it up with the stat screen at the end. So for the general mechanics of the game, obviously, once you get past the main menu, so you can see here, your character is this little blue knight here. You can move with WASD. And that little enemy minion is trying to make contact with you, and if it makes contact with you, as you can see, you lose a little bit of HP there. If you hold down space, you'll actually be put into a sort of attacking state, where if the minion steps in its hitbox, it will lose HP. Once its HP hits 0, it dies. You can press E to open up your inventory. Here you will be able to see any weapons or potions that you have. If you click a health potion, you'll notice that your HP goes back up to not to full, but it goes up a bit. You can click 2 here, heal up a bit more. You can just hit close inventory just like that. And these doors here are actually how you get to the other rooms in our game. Now, the rooms in our game are backed by a graph that connects all of the nodes together that are randomly assembled, and there are challenge rooms slid in there, which we're going to get into later. But as you can see, if you go through here, you get teleported to a different room. This is an example of a challenge room. We're just going to hit reject for now, which basically sets it to a normal room instead of accepting the challenge. So once you enter a challenge room and get this pop-up, if you hit accept, what's going to happen is that the doors will be immediately locked and 5 minions of different types will spawn in the room. Now, the way this works is that in our room class, we have the list of possible rooms you can get, and a couple of them are actually labeled as challenge rooms. So when you enter a challenge room, the first thing you're going to do is we're going to go over to our scenes class, and we're going to create the challenge pop-up, which is over right here, which is basically just a quick little menu with the accept and reject buttons as you saw. If you hit accept, it's going to run this method in our room class right here, challenge, which basically spawns, it picks a random number between 1 and 3, which is our 3 minion types. We have 3 minion types, minion 1, minion 2, minion 3, that have different amounts of HP and ways they attack. So it'll do this 5 times, it'll create 5 minions and then add it to the room. And if you go over to our minion class, as you can see here, one of our parameters is a type, and it can be between 1 and 3, and depending on the type, it draws a different sprite and has different functionality. So if you do manage to get far enough into our dungeon game, you will eventually run into the boss. Now, the boss is a class that extends from Minion. It functions very similar to Minion, outside of a few key differences, like having way more HP, more damage, varying movement speed, and whatnot. And as you continue to hit the boss, attack the boss, its health gets lower, and the sprite changes as its health gets lower. And there isn't any major difference in the sprites. The only difference is the actual health bar above it that shows you how low the boss is. And as you can see right here in our room class, right here, you can see that the very last room is what actually contains the boss. So now we're going to go ahead and demo that. And here we are, finally. We are at the boss, as you can see. He's big, has a lot of HP, moves slowly. As you can see, as you start to hit him, keep hitting him, eventually the health will go lower and lower and lower. And then if you kill him, I can't die because I'm in developer mode. After you kill him, any one of these doors, since this is the last room, any one of these doors will take you to the end screen, which is basically this right here, where you can either play again, see your stats, or quit the game. And the last thing we are going to talk about here is our stat screen that you can see at the end of the game. So as you can see here, once you hit the end of the game and this window pops up, you have a button for stats. If you click on it, it will create a window that shows how many monsters you killed, how much damage you did, and how much damage you actually took. So you can see here, and then we're just going to go ahead and hit quit here and look over how this was implemented real quick. Okay, so looking here, you can see in our room class, if you run out of rooms to go into, meaning you get to the last room and you beat the boss, the game is going to go over to our scenes class and create the win screen. When it creates the win screen, it shows you the 3 buttons, you know, to play again, quit, and to show you your stats. And the way that the stats are tracked is that it actually pulls data from our player class. We have variables for damage dealt, damage taken, things like that. And as you play the game, every tick, these values get updated. And when the stat screen is created, it's just creating the screen based on those values.